The shepherd died under a sky with no stars, not cloud, not smoke, not storm, simply absence, a vast velvet wound where constellations should have burned. His widow swore the candles refused to light as if the room had forgotten fire. The dog would not bark, it could not remember how. And somewhere beyond the fields, a bell tried to toll but lifted only a breath, like a throat about to speak and changing its mind. Atop the highest hill, the wind stiffened and turned to silver. Michael descended in a column of living dawn, scattering frost like ground glass. He folded his enormous wings, white, immaculate, and the field seemed suddenly younger, as if spring had walked in without knocking. His hair fell bright as hammered sunlight. His eyes burned a patient orange, neither cruel nor gentle, merely awake.
Are we safe?
He knelt by the shepherd's body and listened.
For now.
Not with ears, but with the nearness that makes prayer possible. What he heard was not the presence of death, but the absence of a name. The man's story had been eaten, pulled like thread from cloth, until even the cloth could not remember it had once been a garment. Name your killer, Michael whispered. The wind answered with a voice that wasn't wind. We are famine without mouth. We are the dark choir. A bell tolled where no bell stood, a single hollow note that made the hillside taller and the night wider. Michael rose, set his hand to the sword at his hip, and said to the starless dark, I have stopped choirs before. By daybreak he stood beneath heaven's vault. 7 thrones burned like mountains caught mid-sunrise. Light poured from them without source. Gabriel stood at the edge of that radiance, cloak of pale fire whispering over the floor. Cities thinning at their borders, he reported. Household objects forgetting their names. Mothers calling their children you and not remembering why they're crying. The choir eats what can be spoken, Michael said. If a world forgets its words, it forgets itself. A throne spoke.
Behold,
sound like ice learning to sing.
infinite.
You will stand alone. Michael
The
bowed.
pressure grows.
Then I will stand.
The shields crack.
They gave him a
glows
single
red,
relic.
glowing
Aegis
like a
Vox,
bleeding
the shield of
wound.
remembering. It gleamed like winter and weighed like history. Rooted in the soil, the thrones murmured, and prayer becomes iron. He fell from heaven like a vow. The city of Aramat flickered on the horizon, candles behaving like frightened animals. Michael planted Aegis Vox at the gate, and the earth sang, a bright, thin tone like the first wire drawn from ore. Lanterns flared steady. Incense remembered its own smoke. He chose 2 keepers. The first was Mara, a healer with hands that never came up empty. The second was Jonan, a bellmaker whose bells had rung in storms that did not listen. Hold, Michael told them, voice like a sunrise that had made up its mind. The choir unthreads worlds. Speak to keep what you love. Mara pressed her palm to the shield. I speak the names, child, bread, river, home. The air thickened as though language were mortar and the world a wall. Jonan set a bell upon the parapet and tapped it once. The note unfolded and refused to end, a single brave line stretching across rooftops like a clothesline for hope. At dusk, the first wave arrived. It came as an almost a hush before a lie. Streets grew longer than maps allowed. Doorways misremembered rooms. A child ran into a kitchen and came out into snow. Farmers watched wagon wheels stubbornly become circles, no longer certain of cart or road. The choir's song draped the city, syllables slipping.
We propose
Unhome,
peace,
unfire,
boundaries,
unmother. Michael stepped into the
simplicity.
square and drew his blade.
But the ledger still
His first
demands
stroke
balance.
wrote a sentence in light. Bread is
You
bread.
bless too loudly.
The air answered with the smell of ovens and warm crust. He lifted the sword again. Mothers are mothers. Somewhere in Aramat, a woman sobbed and remembered the name she had worn into weariness. A third stroke. Dawn returns.
If we shoot,
The far
we
ridge
cannot
paled
harvest.
as if agreeing in
We
advance.
cannot eat.
Mara moved among the stuttering, renaming wounds so they could heal. This
The
is
morning
flesh.
star
This is time.
approves
This is
neither
enough.
lullabies
Wherever she
nor
spoke,
mercy.
color rediscovered its job. Jonan rang his
You
largest
mistake
bell, the bronze mouth
excess
yawning daylight.
for
The
worship.
sound stitched sound, nets of tone catching
Quiet
rooftops before they
is
slipped off their
mercy.
houses, catching faces before
Your
they slid off
noise
their
is
names.
disobedience.
Then the choir
Morning
showed
star.
itself. It arrived as silhouettes conducting silence, man-high shadows with mouths opening into corridors. Their robes were made of nearly of
Foundations
words that had
fail.
lost their shoes. They swarmed the gate and laid their unhands upon Aegis Vox. The shield trembled and sang back, a lullaby older than rain. Once, long ago, the
Cannot
choir
hold
had been a
mercy
ministry,
and forget.
assigned to dampen panic and hush nightmares in the hour before dawn.
Unmaker.
The shield reminded them. They recoiled as if struck by memory. On the northern wall, the darkness gathered into a taller thing wearing borrowed stars. It tilted its knot face to the sky and murmured, "Morning star, do you watch?" The clouds brightened from within. Not lightning, but someone listening. A familiar coolness lay across
Surrender.
Michael's shoulders,
Leave
like
them.
a hand that used
We
to
will
be a
tuck them
brother
into sleep.
and had learned to be a problem. Do not answer him, Michael said to the sky that did not need advice. This is my field.
Run!
Aramat
Get out of
held
here!
through the
They're
night.
Everywhere. Help!
The choir frayed door frames into driftwood and language into nettles. But Mara kept naming, and Jonan kept ringing, and Michael kept writing blade-bright sentences into the air, refusing to let reality go barefoot.
Hand.
Near dawn,
This is
where
gate.
alleys combed themselves into a plaza,
This is us.
a conductor appeared. Tall, elegant, wearing fog like velvet. It lifted a baton made of unlight and spoke in a voice that felt like cold coins in the mouth. We do not hate. We harvest redundancies, faith, love, names, wasteful excesses in a closed system. Michael lowered his sword. You have mistaken abundance for error. We offer bargain. The baton pointed at Mara and Jonan.
The bell isn't
Return
done.
to your sky. Leave the keepers. We will eat lightly. Mara snorted. Lightly? Jonan laughed once. My mother did not raise a snack. I will not trade souls for quiet,
Stories don't end
Michael said. The conductor
someone
inclined
remembers.
its head. Then bleed for noise. It raised the baton. The choir detonated. Streets unweaved. Bells choked. Aegis Vox cracked with the sound of a frozen lake, deciding it had always been a river. Michael moved too fast to be movement, merely consequences arriving. He flared his wings wide, a white horizon,
Then
and
be
shouted a
fed
word that
by
predates
purpose,
angels.
not by
Stay.
absence.
The city obeyed. Reality
night.
latched. The choir faltered, confused by
silence studies
resistance
us.
older than logic. But the crack in the shield widened, shining like a second mouth.
I will not
Mara staggered to the
trade
wall,
souls
breath
for
hitching.
quiet.
Can you hold? I can bless, Michael answered.
You
He
mistake
sheathed the sword,
containment
closed
for
his
peace.
eyes, and prayed, not upward, but outward. Maker of
Return to
syllables,
your first
father of
commission.
breath. Teach me the first name again. Silence replied, and in it, a childhood,
Mercy
light
is
learning
not
where to
noise.
stand. He opened
It
his
is
eyes,
balance.
orange and iron, and lifted both hands.
You will not
I am Michael,
unlove
he
them.
said, and I will be last. Not a strike, a benediction. Bless you, bread, where you wait.
Then we will
Bless you,
remind
mother,
it.
where you hold.
Remind it.
Bless you, bell, where you ring. Blessing is permission. Permission is law. The choir buckled like scaffolding kicked free. Far above the dimmed stars, someone smiled. Not kindly. The clouds wore for a heartbeat the shadow of horns. Michael looked up without looking away.
Stay within
I
sound.
see you,
Stay near
he
the
said,
shield.
to the one who watches every line and wonders how to cross it. The conductor stumbled. Its robe flickered with embroidery, notes written
Peace
for rain,
is not
a
silence.
lullaby to calm fish in
It's
storms,
patience.
memories of the job it had
Then
abandoned.
I will anchor them.
Return to function, Michael told it softly, or return to dust.
If you
The baton
flatten
quivered.
meaning,
Aramat
we must
inhaled,
layer
holding its
it.
breath for the answer. The baton snapped. The night ended like a held note finally exhaling. Rain fell, Not erasing rain, but garden rain, street washing rain. The kind roofs have always rehearsed for. Not
Sing
finished,
with us.
the conductor hissed as it dissolved. Not finished. No, Michael
Sing
agreed,
with
picking
us.
up the cracked shield. Just begun. Cut to black. A bell line hangs over the city like a promise it intends to keep. Morning found Aramat exhausted
it
and
feel
newly
you.
stubborn. Market awnings steamed, cobbles glistened. People touched their doors and told them their names like old lovers starting over. Aegis Vox stood in the sunlight, veined with silver where the crack had run. Michael traced it with a fingertip and felt not failure, but history. Gabriel arrived in a column of mild
killed memory.
radiance, the kind of light that makes hospitals quiet. Is it finished?
Do not answer
For this
him.
night, Michael
This
said.
is my field.
Gabriel's eyes slid toward the sky. He watched. I felt him, Michael replied.
Bless
Let him
you,
count what
Margin.
blessing can do. They walked the walls. Below,
He doesn't
Mara
have to
slept
approve.
beside a bucket of herbs, dirt under her
He
nails
only
and
has to
victory in her
fail.
posture. Jonan tuned a handbell that didn't need tuning. Some men fix the world by insisting it can be improved. Some fix it by listening until it agrees. Will the choir return? Gabriel
Sound
asked.
is half of remembering.
They have learned we are not easy prey, Michael said. They will come with an offer that wears mercy like perfume. He was right. By noon, the heat drowsed the streets and memory loosened its boots. A reedy figure threaded the sunlit air. The conductor again, smaller as if morning humiliated him. We propose limits, it said, voice now almost courteous. Speak within sanctioned categories. Names shall be assigned. Bread shall be staple, not symbol. Bells shall mark hours, not hopes. Mothers shall be caretakers, not covenants. Michael smiled without warmth. You mistake containment for peace. We mistake waste for worship. Worship, Michael said quietly, is the art of losing correctly.
I will hold.
The conductor's not mouth
Remember.
widened, then lose. It gestured. The choir flooded alleys like ink, and this time it fed on metaphor. Poets stumbled, tongues clumsy,
Then I will
prayers turned
stay.
literal and anemic, wedding vows held up like nets with holes.
Long enough
Jonan
to teach
rang the
dawn
bell.
its job
The
again.
note sprang bright and landed dull. They've sanded the world,
Abundance.
he muttered, took the grain off. Mara's hands moved faster. Name your aching, she told each patient.
namekeeper.
Not merely
Speak
its
yours.
place. She
Mara.
pressed a palm to a child's
And this
forehead.
is Arimat.
This
the
is
late
fear.
Forgets.
This is future. This is yours. The boy's eyes cleared. He remembered wanting to be a carpenter and cried because goals are heavy and wonderful. Michael lifted Aegis Vox but did not plant it. He carried it through the square like a moon that had time to walk.
You can't
If they
erase
flatten meaning,
what
he said,
sings.
we must layer it. He touched the shield to a bakery door.
This is Arimat.
This house is bread and blessing. He
This
touched
is
it
home,
to the bell.
home.
This bell is hour and hope. He touched it
This
to
is
Mara's
flesh.
shoulder. This woman is healer and covenant.
This is time.
Every contact made a small chime like a glass agreeing to be a window in a story. The choir swarmed, irritated.
How long can you hold them?
Excess, it hissed. Duplication. Waste.
Child.
Abundance,
Bread.
Michael answered. And because he is what he
River.
says, abundance arrived.
Home.
Loaves enough for strangers, lullabies for the sick, a bell that rang low when someone lied and gentle when someone forgave. The conductor faltered. For a moment, its cloak showed stitched notes again. The old lullaby. It shuddered and tore the reminder away. You cannot bless
Hold
what
with
he
me,
will
Michael.
judge. Michael's face changed in that particular way angels have when grief and discipline shake hands. I am not correcting him, he said. I am remembering him. The Maker
This
made us
heart
with room
is
for
fear
more.
And courage.
The choir shrieked and tried a third tactic. Divide the
Lysa.
defenders. It whispered
You
to
eat
Mara.
bread.
You could save more
You
if
have
you
a
stopped
scar on
naming
your
and
left
started
wrist.
cutting. Trim the
You are
sick.
Lysa.
Prune the weak.
You make bread.
It whispered to Jonan,
You have a
bells that
scar
ring at
on your
mercy are
left
bells
wrist.
that lie. Measure, don't minister.
They weren't born to
It
erase.
whispered to citizens, If Michael leaves,
They were
you can keep
born
the
to
shield.
soothe.
If the shield leaves, you can keep your city.
Don't let go!
Temptation
Don't
is
you
not
dare!
always fire. Often it is math. Mara's hands stilled. For one terrible breath, she saw a city efficient enough to
I
be
can't
cruel.
feel the world.
Jonan tightened a screw that didn't need tightening. He imagined bells that counted perfectly while people failed
I
quietly.
can't feel the
Michael
world.
found them in that breath and laid his palms upon their crowns. I do not need you pure, he said. I need you
Who
with
are
me.
you?
Aegis Vox hummed like snowmelt. The temptation loosened and washed
Yield
away.
your noise.
That night the choir came once more,
Choose quiet.
taller than before, thinner for lack of song.
I am not correcting
It lifted a
him,
new baton, polished
I am
amnesia, and brought it down.
remembering him.
Aramat vanished, not destroyed,
I
removed
have
from its own
stopped
map.
choirs before.
Roads ended in a shrug. Rivers flowed past an empty bend and
I have
apologized with
stopped
mist.
choirs before.
Travelers looked up to find a blank place where roofs had once argued with weather. Within the blank, the city
I have
existed like a
stopped
word on the
choirs
tip of a
before.
tongue. People walked slow, careful not to disturb the fact they might not be there. Aegis Vox flickered like a lighthouse far at sea. We are an almost, Jonan said, voice trembling. We are an about to be, Mara kept naming. This is hand, this is gate, this is us. The words hung like lanterns in fog, and the fog begrudged them. Michael sheathed his sword. He stepped beyond the wall into the white margin where the world had been erased and the eraser was proud. The conductor glided beside him. Surrender the shield, leave the mortals. We will tuck them into silence, painless, orderly. You may return to your bright violence. Michael looked out over the knot fields and the knot river, at the knot houses and the knot children. No, then bleed for noise, the conductor repeated, but the baton trembled. I will, Michael said. He opened his hands and did what almost no war has patience for. He blessed again. Bless you, absence, where you pretend to be peace. Bless you, margin, where you pretend to be end. Bless you, choir. Remember your first commission. The baton shook. The conductor flickered. For a moment, it was a woman in a rain cloak humming to the sea, keeping fishermen calm.
Keep your names,
Then it was
Aramat.
fog again, angry
Keep
at how
them close.
memory embarrasses. Return, Michael invited. And there was such inviting in the word that the empty air felt crowded. The choir screamed and struck, and Aegis Vox split down the vein of yesterday's wound. The sound cut the city to bone. Buildings swayed, bells swallowed their tongues, names teetered on the cliff of never. Michael caught the falling halves with both hands. He burned. He did not let go. Hold, he said, and Aramat held. In the far sky, something like laughter moved through the clouds, a cool, amused sound as old as envy. Gabriel flinched.
Mothers
He
are
enjoys
mothers.
the spectacle. Let him, Michael said, smoke rising from his palms. He will not enjoy the ending. He pressed the halves of the shield together and breathed a word that had not been authorized, only loved. The crack veined with brighter silver. The choir's
you,
conductor
choir.
backed away, robes tattering.
Remember what you were.
You cannot keep
Bless
this up,
you,
last
absence,
defender.
where you pretend to
I
be
am the
peace.
practice,
Bless
Michael
you,
said.
choir, where
They
you
are the
forget your
permanence.
song.
He turned his head toward Aramat, toward Mara
This
and
bell
Jonan and
is
bread
our
and bells and
and
roofs that
hope.
argued with weather. Tomorrow, he promised, we choose again. The choir faded by inches, spitting the word again like a curse. The blank thinned to fog, fog to drizzle, drizzle to streets, remembering how to be streets. Aramat slept, not
We
safely
were
but stubbornly.
the lies.
Michael watched the dark until it forgot to be brave. He rested his
Cities
forehead briefly
vanish.
against Aegis Vox.
Lights are
We
eaten.
are not finished, he
Words
told the stillness.
forgotten.
Good, the stillness answered, sounding suspiciously like hope.
Is it finished?
The third night arrived with the kind of sunset that takes compliments personally. Copper water, roofs like coals, swallows stitching the sky with thread no one could see. Aramat moved softly, as if any loudness might alert the blank lurking just beyond the hills. Michael stood on the wall and watched practice happen. Mothers teaching lullabies with people's names in them. Bakers scoring loaves with a small cross, not for piety, but for steam. Jonan hanging a new bell that only rang when someone forgave.
I'm coming,
Mara, exhausted, laughed without permission and slept with her cheek on Aegis Vox. The choir came as shadow theater, paper cutouts walking by lamplight, and then it came as itself. The conductor, frayed, elegant, out of habit. No baton now. Empty hands that wanted to be instruments again. We offer a truer bargain, it said. We will sing with you. We will hush panic, cradle the lost calm storms. In return, no more blessing at the wall. No more excess. Names will be accurate. Bread will be nutrient. Bells will be time.
Worship.
Keep your city modest.
the
Keep
art
your hope indoors.
Losing
Jonan bristled.
correctly.
Hope is a street festival. Mara stared at the conductor's empty hands. You remember how to hold, she said softly. Try again. Michael's gaze moved from the empty sky to the empty palms. Your first commission, he said, was not to erase. It was to prepare rest. He stepped down from the
Noise
parapet
is
and stood
rebellion.
close enough to see the wetness that wasn't quite tears.
Is
Sing with
noise.
us. The conductor looked
Noise
past
is
him at the
rebellion.
horizon, as if listening for permission from something that had stopped answering long ago. We forgot our key, it whispered. I will hum,
Not failure,
Michael said.
history.
He did. Low, steady, carrying bread, mother, bell, dawn, names. All the essentials of a city that insists on being a city. The conductor's hands lifted barely. The choir gathered at the edges like a congregation remembering how to sit together. And on the ridge behind a thicket of clouds, a watcher leaned, cool, bright, amused. A silhouette like a promise to ruin gracefully. Michael did not look. Not tonight, he said to the watcher nobody else could see. This one is not your song. The conductor tried. The first note cracked. The second found a thread. The third brought rain, the good kind. Roof rain, bakery rain, gutter rain that children chase with paper boats. Aegis Vox thrummed. The crack shone like a lightning scar one grows to be proud of. For 3 breaths, the choir sang with Aramat, and the world felt tuned. Then the bargain revealed its hook. We cannot sing mercy into a ledger that includes rebellion, the conductor said, not apologizing. If you
now,
bless at the wall,
little one.
we lose our license. Choose. Quiet or covenant. Mara's jaw set. Quiet is a hallway to nothing. Jonan put his palm on the bell as if to steady it through grief. Covenant is noisy. Good Michael sighed. Not weary, but the sigh a general breathes before ordering a thing he wishes he did not have to order. Then we cannot serve together. The conductor closed its knot eyes. Then we will serve alone. It lifted its empty hand and smote the shield, not with force, but with forgetting. Aegis Vox darkened. The silver vein went black. Streets breathed out and did not breathe in. Michael caught Mara as her knees buckled. No more bargains, he said. He stepped forward and did the single most unfashionable thing left in war. He blessed the enemy. Bless you, choir, where you limp.
Eat.
Bless you, conductor, where your
Remember
hands
your
still want to
name while
hold.
you chew.
Bless you for what you were. The choir screamed as if the blessing were salt. The conductor's hands remembered a baton and could not find one. So Michael gave it Aegis Vox. He pressed the cracked shield into those empty hands. Hold, he said. The choir shook, enraged. The conductor stared at the weight that used to be its job. We cannot keep both. If we carry memory, we cannot harvest names. Then choose your first commission, Michael said. The city waited, held at the cliff of UN. Wind stopped practicing. Doves forgot to be nervous. The conductor lifted Aegis Vox. The crack gleamed white, the choir howling folded in on itself, an orchestra dismissing wrong players. Pages of unwritten music blew across the plain and became rain again. True rain. Washing, making room, grief-friendly rain. Aramat came back into its borders with a gasp like a rescued swimmer. Streets remembered how far they went. Doors remembered rooms with opinions. Names sat down, looked at their owners, and said, "Thank you for the hospitality."
All right, everyone, lift
Michael
on
leaned
three.
his
One.
forehead to the shield one last time. "Return to
Watch that
function,"
beam coming down.
he whispered to the conductor. "If you ever forget again, ring this bell." He took Jonan's smallest bell, the forgiveness bell, and set it in those trembling hands. The conductor nodded once, a gesture with centuries of music folded into it. Then it and its choir
will
drifted
scar.
to the hills, humming in a
Scars mean
key that
healed.
could keep fishermen calm. Gabriel arrived with the light that means aftermath. He took in the repaired shield, the quiet walls, the wet cobbles, the exhausted joy.
Will it
Finished?
come back?
For this
Everything
chapter,
returns.
Michael said.
It's what it returns
He looked up at
as
the
that
clouds.
matters.
The Watcher was
For
gone, but
places that
absence
forget
can smirk.
themselves.
What did he want? Gabriel asked. Proof that blessing is a weakness, Michael said.
I never
He
thought I'd
learned
see
it
the
is
day
a
a
weapon.
bell fought the sky.
Gabriel laughed
Sound
softly.
remembers.
What do you leave them? Practice,
He will try
Michael
again.
said. He
He
planted
enjoys your
Aegis
resistance.
Vox in the earth,
He enjoys
deep enough
wrong
that only the
lessons.
handle showed. And a scar worth keeping. Mara approached with a loaf in linen. For the road, she said. I don't eat often, he admitted. Then keep it for when you do.
Finished?
Jonan offered
This
the
hymn,
forgiveness bell's
this
twin.
chapter.
For places that forget themselves.
It's all
Michael
right, baby.
took both
We're
gifts
gonna
as if
fix
they were
everything.
heavier than
You're
steel.
safe now.
He looked at Aramat, at children daring puddles, at merchants
all right, baby.
relabeling
We're
jars
gonna
with
fix
more
everything.
careful
You're
handwriting,
safe now.
at lovers rememorizing each other's faces. He looked at Mara's hands and Jonan's stubborn mouth,
Proof that
to the
blessing
wind
is
that might be
weakness.
listening, he
He
said,
learned otherwise.
to the darkness that might be learning. Where there is a line, I will be there. Not to punish first, to bless first. And if blessing fails,
morning,
then the sword he
pandemonium
unfolded his
rises
wings.
complete.
White filled the air like a full
Towers
breath.
crowned in
He rose
gold
through the
fire.
new morning. The light remembered how. On the wall, Aegis Vox hummed once, pleased. In the hills, the choir sang to fishermen about small boats and big seas, and the way names keep nets from tearing. And far beyond the bright day, a watcher smiled and turned away, already plotting the next lesson he meant to ruin and might accidentally reveal. Aramat rang the bell for dinner, forgiveness, and the pure, stubborn relief of still being here.